I want to share a couple notes I took this week. There are a bunch of smaller items that I couldn't make into their own topics, so I'm going to put them all together. And I'm actually, I wrote it and I was very surprised, like, oh, wow, this flows really well together into the next thing. And so I want to start with this. Kyle Allen and Teddy Bridgewater are both 4-0. The Panthers backup Kyle Allen, the Saints backup, technically starting quarterback. Teddy Bridgewater, backup starter, whatever he is. He's starting now. They're both 4-0 as starters, replacing Cam Newton and Drew Brees. And not only is that impressive, and I'm happy for both guys, it's really funny to watch this situation, how it's evolved. And the contrast in reaction in the cities these guys play in. Both backups have been amazing. Like, both backups have done such a good job leading their team, carrying their team to victory. And it shows either how incredible Drew Brees' legacy is or how far Cam Newton has followed. The city of Carolina is in a hurry to replace Cam Newton. And they're like, Kyle Allen's great. He's getting the job done. He's not incredible, but we're happy. He's finally playing the quarterback position with some consistency. We've wanted that for years. People are ready to get rid of Cam Newton just like that. Nobody's talking about Drew Brees. Nobody. And for good reason. Like, Drew Brees' legacy is incredible. And it's just interesting how nobody's even mentioned, like, should Teddy Bridgewater start when Drew Brees come back? Because it's unfathomable. No one could ever possibly say it. Drew Brees is a legend, a Hall of Famer. And it's not that, I'm not saying that we should talk about whether or not Drew Brees should play. My point is, it's interesting that nobody, not a single person in the media is even mentioning that, because it's idiotic to imagine Drew Brees not coming back and being a starter. Because it's just not it's just funny to me. You'd think some idiot on TV somewhere would say that. Should Teddy be the guy? And no one even dares go near it because it's so obvious how dumb that is. I thought it was funny and wanted to point that out. And then Kyle Allen replaces Cam. They're 4-0. Replaces Cam Newton. And it's wild, but I'm on team Kyle Allen. Kyle Allen is playing really, really well, very consistently, bringing a lot of stability to the quarterback position in Carolina. I'd take him over Cam Newton. In my mind, in Carolina, he's the guy. Long term, I'm done with Cam. And that leads me to my next note, which is that the Bears quarterbacks are really, really bad. Chase Daniel is whatever, he's a backup. But Mitchell Trubisky, I keep waiting. And, you know, from his same draft class, Patrick Mahomes is doing great. And Deshaun Watson's doing fantastic. And Mitchell Trubisky, we just keep waiting. We keep waiting, and he's just a mess. He's not good. I know it's only year 2. It's a little early to say this, but the reason why I'm bringing this up now and not giving Mitchell Trubisky more time to develop is that there are 2 guys available right now in the NFL. Marcus Mariota, he just got benched, and Cam Newton. And the Bears had better pull the trigger and make a move for one of those 2 guys. I know that's unconventional, but Marcus Mariota and Matt Nagy's offense would be incredible. I know. Look, I prefer Marcus Mariota. I think he'd be better with the Bears. I know he failed in Tennessee. It didn't work. It did not work. But he also never had a great head coach and a great offensive coordinator. Never had a great coach on offense. And the Bears head coach, Matt Nagy, is an offensive genius. The systems he runs and the schemes he runs, the plays designed he has are like, oh my gosh, you're creating great matchups over and over and over again for your quarterback. And the Bears quarterback, Mitchell Trubisky, cannot take advantage of those matchups and the play design of Matt Nagy because he either misses guys wide open, he doesn't understand his system, or he's slow to pick reads. He just regularly is not good enough, and it drives me nuts. I hate watching it. And so I'm telling you now, the Bears better make a play at Marcus Mariota or Cam Newton. It's the move they got to make. It's what I would do if I was the Bears. I think Marcus Mariota would fit really well with the Bears. You don't need to ask a lot of Marcus Mariota in Chicago. If he's the Bears quarterback, design an offense the same way you've done for Mitchell Trubisky, and I guarantee you Mariota can do better than Trubisky has. It drives me nuts. I hate watching him. And I just think, man, you gotta pull the trigger. Now, I look at the Browns right now. I look around at the Browns, And Odell Beckham Jr. is struggling. He's had some drops, and people are ready to, oh, man, it's just not good in Cleveland. They're losing games. And the Browns' offensive line is really bad. Very, very bad. And it's very interesting to look back on what happened this offseason with the Bears and the Giants. The Browns and the Giants. The Browns and the Giants made 2 trades. And at the end of those trades, the Browns ended up with Odell Beckham Jr. and Olivier Vernon, a defensive end. A receiver and a defensive end. They got those guys from the Giants. And the Giants got from the Browns Kevin Zeitler, an offensive lineman, a first-round draft pick, and a former first-round draft pick, Jabril Peppers. He's now the Giants' starting safety. Right now, the Giants look really, really smart trading away Odell Beckham Jr. And the Browns look really dumb giving up an offensive lineman when their number one problem is offensive line. They don't need a receiver. They have Jarvis Landry. And honestly, Odell Beckham Jr. has been underwhelming. Dropping passes, had a fumble. It's just not impressive. I don't know. It could be, when I watch film, I don't really love the way the Browns are using Odell Beckham Jr. But also, it's just more and more glaringly clear they need offensive linemen. They had one, and they got rid of one. And everybody in New York, all the New York sports fans were so angry and PO'd, and all those angry New York sports fans were wrong when the Giants got rid of Odell Beckham Jr. I talked about it in my film analysis of Eli Manning. Said he's not great. I got a lot of pushback. I said trading away OBJ is good for the Giants, and people did not like that. Well. He's losing games with the Giants, or with the Browns, excuse me. The Browns got an offensive lineman. It's paid off really well for them. And so I just think when you look back on the Odell Beckham Jr. trade, you go, the Giants won. I don't like that. I know in Madden it doesn't make sense to trade away Odell Beckham Jr., but this is not Madden. The Giants won the Odell Beckham Jr. trade. Now, there are rumors that the Browns are trying to trade for Trent Williams, the Redskins' left tackle. Trent Williams is currently holding out, and he does not want to play for the Redskins. I don't blame him at all. And if the Browns were able to trade for Trent Williams, it'd be a huge move for them. They need offensive linemen. It would help them. It'd be a great move for their franchise. It would solve a lot of problems. It's harder to win with 3 bad offensive linemen than it is with 2. With 2, you can hide it, call certain plays, certain directions, and it's okay. When you have 3 bad offensive linemen, you're just screwed. It's over. Right now, the Browns are just screwed, and it's over. If they can get Trent Williams, bam, that's a big move for them. Now, the Redskins don't want to part ways with Trent Williams. They're an idiotically, horribly run franchise. And I know that Trent Williams is holding out, and a lot of people are concerned, well, if Trent Williams doesn't want to play for the Redskins, why would he want to play for the Browns? They're 2-4. They're a bad team. I know you can see potential parallels between the Browns and the Redskins if you look at just their records. But the Redskins' front office and their organization is awful. And Trent Williams' issues with the medical staff and with their upper management in Washington with the Redskins, his problem is not about anything other than, I hate the Redskins. I hate the way they're run. I hate their medical staff. I hate their front office. Yeah, if you trade for Trent Williams, he's going to play for the Browns. He just doesn't want to play for the Redskins. That's the problem. It's not whatever issues you want to make up. The problem with Trent Williams, the reason why he wants out, and I can't blame him at all, is he wants to get out of Washington. And here's what's funny. The last note I had, and this is why I'm very proud how it all kind of nightly. I took a bunch of weird topics that I didn't think they were going to work out, and they all kind of led nicely into the next one. Kyle Shanahan is the 49ers head coach. And if you know the backstory, he spent time as the Redskins offensive coordinator in Washington. Also, his dad, Mike Shanahan, was the head coach of the Redskins for a long time. And he coached with, in Washington. Here are the coaches that have been through Washington. It's pretty remarkable. Sean McVay, Jay Gruden, who I like, Matt LaFleur, and Kyle Shanahan. 4 guys who all were head coaches other places, including, well, I guess if you count 3 guys who went on to be head coaches other places, not to mention Jay Gruden, who I think just got beat down by a whole franchise. If he went somewhere else, I think he could succeed. I don't know if anybody will ever give Jay Gruden a chance, but I think Jay Gruden is a head coach that can win. He just dealt with a lot of bad. But the narrative is not about Jay Gruden. The narrative here is about how bad the Redskins are. In an interview, when Kyle Shanahan was asked about his favorite moment and favorite memory with the Redskins, his answer was, I loved being able to work with my dad and be around some other good coaches. When he was asked what the worst part about being with the Redskins was, he said, everything else. I loved being with my dad and other great coaches. What was the worst part? Everything else. And he did go on to clarify. He said, look, I also worked with a lot of good players, good people. I liked them. And, Kyle Shanahan also in 2017, in August, in an interview, he said, he was talking about the Redskins. He said, I was proud of the work I did there, especially under the circumstances that weren't the easiest. Stuff I think everyone can figure out on their own. It's just more evidence. The Redskins organization is a mess. And ownership and upper management is the problem. Dan Snyder, if you ever get off your high horse and watch this YouTube video, you're failing. You got to look in the mirror. You are the problem. My name is Zach Schaumler. This is my podcast, Strong Opinion Sports. It's my favorite thing in the entire world. And I want to be very clear and open with the audience. My YouTube channel is monetized. What that means is that some of my videos make ad revenue. It's fewer than you think. A lot of them get claimed. But in the past, I've received donations from people on Patreon and PayPal. PayPal.me/Zach Schaumler. Patreon.com/Zach Schaumler. And because I'm making ad revenue, it felt kind of weird just receiving donations. I wanted to give something back for the donations. And so people who support me on Patreon can give me $1 a month, and that allows them access to a pool where they can ask questions. If you send me questions through Patreon's DM service, you comment on one of my posts on Patreon. If you give $1 a month, you can submit questions. And with my eyeballs, I look at every single question submitted. Then at the end of my podcast, I pick the best top couple questions and read them on the show and answer them in a segment I call Ask Zach. Now, that's for people who have money and want to support me that way. If you have no money to give, no problem. I totally understand. I grew up in a mobile home. I've been a broke college kid. I totally get it. But if you want to help in some capacity at the end, you can support the show by telling your friends about it. Share it on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, whatever it is. Help me grow by telling your friends about this show. It would mean a lot to me. If you believe in my dream and you believe in this show, tell your friends about Strong Opinion Sports. Guys, my name is Zach Schaumler. Thank you so very much, and hope you have a great day.